Captain Tsubasa, also known as Soccer no Moshigo, the heaven-sent child of football. No character has done more to promote any sport in their own country and abroad than Captain Tsubasa. The character's manga and anime series single-handedly popularized football in Japan. Its popularity eventually led to the establishment of the first professional football league in the country, and around the world the series has inspired generations of young children to grow up to be professional footballers after watching this anime character on TV. Some of these young children would even grow up to become world champions, who would go on to surpass Captain Tsubasa himself and one day lift the World Cup. And it all started with this anime series. From Tokyo to Sao Paulo to Barcelona, the streets will never forget the legend of Captain Tsubasa. On March 31st, 1981, the first chapter of the Captain Tsubasa manga series appeared in the legendary Japanese manga magazine Weekly Shonen Jump, published by Shueisha. Captain Tsubasa was written and illustrated by Yōichi Takahashi, just 21 years old at the time, who became inspired to write a manga about football after watching the 1978 FIFA World Cup in Argentina, and designed the manga to explain and popularize a sport that was largely neglected in Japan at the time. Takahashi achieved his professional debut when his Captain Tsubasa one-shot was selected for the 10th Fresh Jump Award in 1980, and the short story was so successful that it launched the legendary Captain Tsubasa manga serialization in Weekly Shonen Jump magazine the following year. Up until this point, Japan had been baseball country, and football remained a minor, niche sport. Japan had no professional football league. The national team wouldn't take part in the Asian Cup until 1988, and wouldn't qualify for the FIFA World Cup until 1998. The undisputed king of sports manga was baseball, with legendary series like Star of the Giants and Touch dominating the culture. And getting the approval to write the manga by its publisher, Shueisha, took between 2 and 3 years due to the low popularity of the subject matter at the time, as well as Takahashi's own inexperience in writing manga. Captain Tsubasa revolves around the sport of association football, focusing on young football prodigy Tsubasa Ozora and his relationship with his friends, rivalries with his opponents, his training, football competitions, and the action and outcome of each football match. Rather than using professional players, Takahashi instead used children as protagonists, hoping readers would relate to the cast of characters. Nevertheless, Takahashi already had in mind that throughout the series the main characters would grow up and become professionals. Captain Tsubasa's initial popularity at the time of its debut wasn't explosive, but still better than expected, and Captain Tsubasa's early popularity became evident through Jump reader surveys and rapidly increasing visibility within the magazine. Within a relatively short time after debuting, Captain Tsubasa evolved into one of Jump's recognizable anchor titles of the early 1980s. The manga series would go on to be serialized in Jump magazine until 1988, with the chapters collected in 37 volumes, and was followed by various manga sequels. Following its initial popularity, Captain Tsubasa was soon adapted into an anime series by Tsuchida Production and debuted on TV Tokyo on October 10th, 1983. The anime story begins in 1982 and reflects real-life events, with Italy having just won the World Cup in Spain. And as people in Japan wonder out loud whether their country will ever take part in the global event, a young Tsubasa vows to one day make that happen. The story's main protagonist is Tsubasa Ozora, an 11-year-old football prodigy who lives with his mother in Japan, while his father is a sea captain who travels around the world. Tsubasa is known as the Soccer no Moshigo, which translates as heaven-sent child of football. When he was almost a year old, Tsubasa was almost run over by an oncoming bus while playing with a ball, which served as a cushion for most of the impact. And ever since that incident, Tsubasa's motto became, "The ball is my friend." The anime follows the first 2 main story arcs of the manga series, beginning with Kid's Dream, which chronicles Tsubasa's adventures in elementary school, where Tsubasa leads the Nankatsu Elementary School team against rivals across the country, and was followed by the Boys Fight story arc, which follows Tsubasa's football career in middle school. The original Captain Tsubasa anime consisted of 128 episodes and covered the first 84 chapters and the first 25 volumes of the manga series, with the final episode of the initial anime series airing on 27th of March 1986. 4 animated movies were released between 1985 and 1986, which continued the storyline. The manga storyline was continued in a new series of original video animations, or OVAs for short, entitled Shin, Captain Tsubasa, which debuted on July 1st, 1989. Shin, Captain Tsubasa is based on the third and final Captain Tsubasa arc, J-Boy's Challenge, from chapters 85 to 108, and follows Tsubasa representing the Japanese national team taking part in the International Junior Youth Football Tournament in France. The 13th OVA in the Shin Captain Tsubasa series aired on July 1st, 1990, and concluded the original Captain Tsubasa anime series. In 1994, a second adaptation of the Captain Tsubasa manga series, entitled Captain Tsubasa J, debuted on October 21st. The first part of the series was a retelling of Kid's Dream, the first story arc in the series, with the events of Boys Fight and J-Boy's Challenge happening off-screen in this series. The second part of the anime series adapted the first 31 chapters of Battle of World Youth, the fourth story arc in the manga series. However, the series was suspended due to budget constraints, as well as overtaking the manga series, which was still in progress, and as a result the studio ran out of material to adapt. In 2001, a third anime adaptation called Captain Tsubasa Road to 2002 debuted on October 7th, originally released to promote the 2002 FIFA World Cup in Japan and South Korea, and the competition was still ongoing at the time of the original broadcast of the last episode, June 10th, 2002. The series is composed of 52 episodes and divided into 3 main story arcs, the first consisting of the first 19 episodes, which served as a retelling of the original series. The next 11 episodes served as a retelling of the OVA series, while the remaining episodes consisted of new material that combines a few elements from World Youth Hen, the sequel to the original Captain Tsubasa manga series, with the stories from the first half of the Road to 2002 manga. And in 2018, a fourth and so far final anime adaptation was released, simply titled Captain Tsubasa, produced in time for the 2018 World Cup in Russia. The first season of the 2018 series consisted of 52 episodes and served as a reboot, with the first 28 episodes retelling the elementary school story arc, and the remaining 24 episodes served as a retelling of the middle school story arc. A second season was released on October 1st, 2023, and served as a retelling of the J-Boy's Challenge arc from the original manga. The Captain Tsubasa anime followed the manga publications and chronicled the adventures of its main character, Tsubasa Ozora, throughout his school career, and then follows Tsubasa as he leaves Japan to play for Sao Paulo in Brazil, possibly inspired by the story of Musashi Mitsushima, who is widely considered to be the first Japanese footballer to play abroad. Mitsushima moved to Brazil to join the Sao Paulo youth system in 1975 when he was just 10 years old. Tsubasa eventually leaves Brazil for Europe to play in La Liga for Barcelona, the favorite team of the manga creator Yōichi Takahashi, and the story chronicles Tsubasa's exploits for the Japanese national team. The story also follows Tsubasa's friends as well as rivals as they experience varying degrees of success playing in countries like Italy and Germany. In creating the manga, Takahashi designed multiple characters with different characteristics in order to present multiple traits that would serve as different obstacles for Tsubasa to overcome. During Tsubasa's time in Japan, Takahashi started using professional players inspired by real-life football stars, most notably Rival, inspired by Rivaldo, who would mentor Tsubasa in Barcelona. Captain Tsubasa is a legendary anime series. The show, together with the manga, is widely credited as the single most significant cultural catalyst for popularizing football in Japan, inspiring an entire generation of Japanese children to take up the sport, and the series' incredible success created the grassroots demand necessary to help launch the J-League a decade later. Many of Japan's earliest international stars, including Hidetoshi Nakata, have credited Captain Tsubasa with fueling their childhood love for the game. In the spring of 2013, a bronze statue of Captain Tsubasa was erected in the neighborhood of the anime's creator in Katsushika, Tokyo. And the Captain Tsubasa pilgrimage in Tokyo includes 9 bronze statues of the manga characters, scattered between Yotsugi and Tateishi train stations in the Katsushika ward, in the northeast of the capital. Captain Tsubasa appeared in the video for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics at the closing ceremony of the 2016 Summer Olympics. And outside of the manga and anime, Captain Tsubasa has been adapted into more than 20 video games. Around the world, Captain Tsubasa achieved considerable popularity and is still fondly remembered today. The anime series was broadcast on free-to-air public televisions across Europe, being especially popular in countries like Italy, Spain, and France. In Latin America, the series was known as Super Campeones, and in the Middle East, Captain Tsubasa aired as Captain Majeed, and became an iconic childhood show in these countries that resonated deeply with local football fans. Not only in Japan but around the world, Captain Tsubasa has inspired many prominent footballers to start playing from an early age and even take up football as a career. World Cup winners like Zinedine Zidane, Alessandro Del Piero, Andres Iniesta, and even Lionel Messi have all spoken about their admiration for the series and have cited the series as an inspiration for their own success. In August 2025, the FIFA Museum paid tribute to Captain Tsubasa's legacy and cultural impact in the Football Fever exhibition space, honoring the series as a defining piece of football's pop culture history, which has inspired generations of players while shaping the perception of the game in many parts of the world. Let me know in the comments if you're old enough to remember Captain Tsubasa debuting in your country, and if you remember the show as being called Super Campeones or Captain Majeed. The World Cup is around the corner, so I'll be back again soon with another video on football or soccer related cartoons and animation. But until then, 3 quick questions. Do you think Japan will ever win the World Cup? Who do you think will win the upcoming 2026 World Cup? And is your country taking part? Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like this video to pay tribute to the legend of Captain Tsubasa, and remember to share this video if you learned something today. I'll be back again as soon as possible, so remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for more cartoon history.